Today is Medicare's birthday. It was 50 years ago today that Lyndon Johnson signed the Medicare bill into law in 1965. One of the loudest opponents of Medicare was actor Ronald Reagan, who was then the Donald Trump of his time, a celebrity with no governing experience and very forceful opinions about government. Here is Ronald Reagan offering a heartfelt, fact-free, totally false prediction of what would happen to doctors if Medicare became law.
First, you decide that the doctor can have so many patients. They're equally divided among the various doctors by the government. But then the doctors aren't equally divided geographically. So a doctor decides he wants to practice in one town, and the government has to say to him, you can't live in that town. They already have enough doctors. You have to go someplace else. And from here, it's only a short step to dictating where he will go. This is a freedom that I wonder whether any of us have the right to take from any human being. I know how I'd feel if you, my fellow citizens, decided that to be an actor, I had to become a government employee and work in a national theater.
No one should think that Sarah Palin, a Ronald Reagan worshiper, invented the trick of fantasizing about the contents of healthcare legislation. Sarah Palin's death panels are a direct descendant of Reagan's false claim that the government was going to say to a doctor, quote, you can't live in that town.
Once you establish the precedent that the government can determine a man's working place and his working methods, determine his employment. From here, it's a short step to all the rest of socialism, to determining his pay. And pretty soon, your son won't decide when he's in school where he will go or what he will do for a living. He will wait for the government to tell him where he will go to work and what he will do.
Reagan's fantasies about what Medicare would do to America make Sarah Palin's false attacks on Obamacare seem shy. There's Reagan telling America that if you allow Medicare to become law, the government would soon be telling all of us, every one of us, where we can go to school, where we can live, exactly what we can do for a living. That was Reagan's promise about what Medicare would do to America.
And behind it will come other federal programs that will invade every area of freedom as we have known it in this country, until one day, as Norman Thomas said, we will awake to find that we have socialism. And if you don't do this, and if I don't do it, one of these days, you and I are going to spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Instead, Ronald Reagan spent his sunset years as President of the United States and never once attempted to repeal Medicare or reduce its scope in any way. Reagan got one thing about Medicare right. It was and is socialism. What Reagan cannot comprehend is that there is good socialism and bad socialism, and Medicare is very good socialism. And because we are all believers in good socialism now, the Republican chairman of the House Committee with jurisdiction over Medicare, Paul Ryan, who has publicly worshipped Ronald Reagan, issued a statement about Medicare's birthday today that did not say that after 50 oppressive years of this socialism, we should repeal it and repeal Obamacare while we're at it. Instead, the ultra-conservative but practical socialist chairman of the committee said, Medicare is a promise. It's a commitment to all Americans that if you work hard, you'll have the support you need when you retire. Ronald Reagan, the actor, would have attacked Paul Ryan for saying those words, but Ronald Reagan, the president, became just as supportive of Medicare as all the socialists who voted for Medicare and all the socialists who voted for Ronald Reagan.